Since we've entered Virgo season, I wanted to just offer a few thoughts on the esoteric meaning of Virgo. As you probably know, Virgo is an earth sign, but it's ruled by Mercury, and it's also the case that Mercury is exalted in Virgo. So, what is Mercury? Let's start with that. Mercury is essentially everything that drives form to go through changes, and it is the form that goes through changes itself. And it is the process by which we, as adepts or magicians, can create change in accordance with will. So, Mercury at the highest level is logos or law. It is the word. And when we say the word in a spiritual context or a magical context, we're talking about something that cannot be really captured in language itself. It's something beyond language or form, and yet it also corresponds to a form. So we're talking about Hokmah is the will, or that pure masculine principle, the word. And then it's also in Binah acquires the potential of taking a form. And then it comes down, and the lowest sphere on the left-hand side of the tree is Mercury, Hod, and there it acquires the sort of like the ability to impose that form onto Earth. And then finally, you have the image of the Virgin, and in the Gnostic Mass of Thelema, the priestess is supposed to be a virgin. We know that that does not pertain to whether or not she's had sexual experience per se, but rather it pertains to a state of being purely dedicated to her inner God. And so, and what is the inner God? It's logos. So, and the will is universal, the logos is universal. So, when we have the pure fertile earth, whether that's in the form of a priestess or any other form, what we're talking about is basically the word takes expression as form. So it's like the word that cannot be heard takes expression as the word that can be heard. So she's like the expression or speaking of the word when she's virginal, meaning she's purified all the noise from her ego away and has assumed the ability to become an avatar of the logos. And then she is the logos. Then she becomes one with it. She unifies with it. And then the word passes into manifestation through her, birthed onto the earth, and ascends the right-hand pillar again to rejoin and complete the circle. So it's like the snake that bites its own tail. Mercury is alchemically that fluid substance that can be turned into anything else, and it is that in which we work. It is both the material with which we work and is the outcome of that work as it goes through its changes. So, everything in a sense in manifestation is because it's transitory. You can say it's illusory. I mean, that's a perspective. We know that the magus or magician itself, that path connecting from Kether to Binah, is Mercury also in that alchemical sense. And it basically is that which can perform the illusion, perform the trick of creating something new. And so as magicians, we're actually adopting that magician, hopefully in alignment with the actual logos, the true will, and then we're bringing it down to earth. Depending on our bodies, we may work differently with these principles. But at the end of the day, we're circulating, we're cycling. Again, the snake is biting its own tail through the work that we do. The Virgo principle, that virgin earth, is that pure potential of whatever is already manifested to rebirth, to birth the sun, or to birth the logos again. And that continues to happen. The art of magic itself, the intent behind it is to keep creation going, to keep it fresh, to keep whatever is passing away, and something new coming into being, so that the will of God can be done on planet Earth. So Virgo, the sign Virgo, has the potential, has basically shows us that potential to birth something new. We know from more common astrology that Virgo is a sign associated with analysis. And in the case of actual magic, we have to have the ability to sort between things that are no longer of use, between things that are of our egos, especially, versus things that are truly speaking to us from our will, from beyond our incarnation, because ultimately that's where we're rooted, is from beyond the incarnation. The incarnation is intended to be a vehicle. Virgo on the tree of life is the path of the hermit, which connects Hesed, or Jupiter, divine order, with Tiferath, perfect balance, our heart center. Actually, both of those pertain to the heart chakra. But the center of our tree is Tiferath. It harmonizes everything else. So that path of the hermit, which oftentimes shows an old man in a cloak holding up a lantern. What is that lantern? So that light of Logos is Mercury itself. The lantern is him just shining it. So basically, when we're behaving as a hermit, what we're doing is we're working in silence. That is the quality of the hermit. Silence is nothing more than shrinking down the perturbing effects of our ego to the point where we're working in tandem we're one with the universal will. And that is the ideal of the hermit, is that basically that realization, lived realization, that there is no personal will, that the incarnation truly is just a vessel. And although we, as the ego, the ego still has a function, which is to basically take guidance from the angel or listen to the angel, and to command the daemon, which is Mercury also, to keep this cycle going. That is the function of the ego. It's like a bridge or a way station between the above and the below in order to link them. It is that connection. That is the perfect function of the ego. So the hermit is one whose ego functions that way. So that is the potential, the promise of Virgo is to keep everything flowing in perfect harmony, so that initial fire of Logos is transmitted through, that creative fire is transmitted through everything you do, just naturally, just by taking the next step, and then simply allowing that to be born through you.